Hi, welcome to a stream. Another stream, a weekly stream featuring me, your host, Mini-Me. This is Midnight Club 2, played on the Steam version of the game. We're not PS2 emulating this time, so hopefully everything actually works. And yeah, I'm playing with a keyboard, which is the best way to play racing games. I am micro now, that's true. Hi, Shagadelic John, Space Thing, and Guizirazi Z something. Welcome to Midnight Club 2. This is a game I really like. No surprises there. Career mode. Look how cursed and nightmarish this cutscene is. All of the cutscenes in this game are horrifying. Weren't you playing with a keyboard before? I was playing all the PS2 games with a controller, but with an Xbox controller, so it was sort of cursed. But yeah, Midnight Club 2, the reason I like this game is because it's really pure. It was developed by the guys that did the Midtown Madness series, and I think Rockstar acquired them just before they made this game, so I think they were called Angel Studios before they made this, before Rockstar bought them. And after this they were called, I don't know, Rockstar something. And so they kind of had this pedigree of these open world races. And the Midnight Club games, especially when the very first Midnight Club game came out, it felt... the Midtown Madness games. When the first Midtown Madness game came out, it felt kind of boundary pushing. Like, everyone sort of talks about Driver 1 and GTA as the sort of premier open world pioneers of the genre. Maybe they'll bring up Urban Chaos if you're a bit weird and crazy, or Batman on PS1. But Midnight Club on PC was kind of like the PC nerds open world game. Sorry, Midtown Madness. I'm gonna get this wrong a lot. Midtown Madness on PC was kind of boundary pushing, and they sort of built their brand on Midtown Madness, and then Rockstar got in touch and was like, hey, can we make a Midnight Club? Which was sort of the Japanese tuner version. If I remember rightly, you can run that person over. Anyway. Basically, what it seems like what happened. Greetings from Costa Rica, hi. Greetings from Australia, childhood game, let's go. Yeah, nah. I played this game a lot as a kid too. There was a cheat code where you could, like, add guns to your car. And so my brother and I would do split screen on PS2 and just shoot each other all day. And just, like, blow up traffic. Look at this keyboard turning. But yeah, Midtown Madness, Rockstar, oh my god, that didn't work at all. Rockstar basically saw Midtown Madness, it seems, and was like, we can capitalize on this Japanese tuner trend and do our own. Can you guys make that for us? And they were like, yep. And Midnight Club was born, not Midtown Madness, I'm gonna get that wrong. So this game is kind of a Midtown Madness game, but way cooler, way more style. Do I have a... No, I don't. There's NOS. There's this thing where you can lean the car on the side, eventually, when I unlock it. I don't know why I'm going so slow. Is it possible to win this race? No? Do I have to go again? I do. Alright. Why is it so slow? I'll try to pay more attention this time. This is the very first race in the game, so my car's shit. It is automatic. It's gearing up to Gear 4. Hello, Mr. Mini-Me. It's very late and I need to be in bed for work, but I just want you to know it's lovely seeing you make a living out of your fangled computer games. My beautiful grandson. Thank you, Ruth. Sorry, I'm doing something wrong. There we go. Gear 5. Screwed that up again, running over pedestrians. So it was a bit more edgy than Midtown Madness, which felt like a kid's game. Maybe I should take that shortcut to win this race. Jumped the loop so many times, yeah. There were lots of great secrets and jumps. But yeah, basically, what I like about this game, especially compared to later Midnight Club games, is this is the most, like, no-frills open world racer, like, ever. Not ever, but it's elegant. It's kind of about nothing else except the racing. There's no car customization, really. The storyline's very bare bones. It's all about just this neat atmosphere, really, really, really tight controls, and I've lost this race again. And just simple racing. I played this on my PS2 for countless hours. I actually still have the game and the Brady's Games Guide. Such a great game. It is a great game that I'm doing horribly at. Messing around with the hydraulics in Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition was goofy as hell, but admittedly pretty fun. So yeah, the later games, Midnight Club 3 and Midnight Club LA, they introduced licensed cars, and alongside licensed cars, they introduced a lot of car customization. And the game kind of really leaned into that car culture, car customization, and it was great. It was fantastic. They're the most... Oh my god, I really need to pay attention. This game's hard. They're the most beloved Midnight Club games for a reason. Let's try go this shortcut. Yeah, look at this. This is what I should have been doing the whole time. No, it's not. Jesus. I should restart this race right now. I'm pausing the most dour and depressing Dutch crime thriller to watch this stream. Probably better for my mental health anyways. I'm enjoying depressing TV. I'm watching a game called a show called My Mister at the moment, a K-drama, and it's pretty miserable. It's just about, like, a midlife crisis, basically. But, yeah, Midnight Club. Cool series. The first two games are very different. The first game felt a bit off. This game is very much a refinement of the first game, and then the third game mixed up the formula entirely. Because there's not a lot of places you can sort of go from Midnight Club 2. Midnight Club 2 is a hard game to refine because it's kind of perfect at what it does. It's just a very... Ooh, that was close. That was what I needed to do to win this race, though, probably. Oh god, don't hit the traffic. It's just a very pure, very simple, very tight-feeling racing game. And there's 3 massive cities. There's a great soundtrack. There's a cool vibe. We're currently in LA. There's lots of shortcuts and jumps. It's just lovely. It's just a... I just think it's neat. You eventually go to Paris and then Japan. And they do a good job of making each city feel really, really different. Look at this cutscene.
Let's go.
So you can hear his thoughts, and then he... Anyway, Bofadis, hi. I just finished up a replay, and goddamn, those final races ask so much of you. So yeah, towards the end of this game, it just gets, like, super hard. Which I don't mind, you know, like... It's just I don't know. Whenever games, like, get really, really hard at the end, it doesn't bother me that much. But this game gets really hard. I can't imagine they playtested them, but it's hard in a good way, yeah. So this scene, this mission has a police chase in it. Which I always liked. And something about the free roam mode, which you could play in split screen on PS2 back in the day, which I did with my brother a lot. I may have already screwed this up. Something about the free roam mode is it didn't have police chases. which I always thought was really disappointing. It was like you couldn't do sort of GTA-style police chase shenanigans. Ooh, can I win this at the final hour? Cut this corner. Look at this. Good stuff. Would a racing game be any good if it was set in Australia? Like, what city should be perfect for a racing game? There's been a few Australian settings in racing games. So as you go through the campaign, it just gives you cars, and you just use them, and you're just always using the latest car. It's so, you never have to think. It's just like, race, 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 race. Nothing else to it. The controls are great, the vibe's great. Simple, lovely, laid back. My uncle and I did split screen free pro motor mode yet. Mini-Me, have you done the infamous Mafia 1 car race? I have. But yeah, the main big game set in Australia, big racing game set in Australia was Forza Horizon 3. Which was cool to see because they set it in sort of a mishmash of Australian cities and outback locations. You flash your lights at races while driving around and then race them. You follow them to the start of the race. But I was actually pretty disappointed with Forza Horizon 3. Not only because I don't really like the Forza Horizon career progression, I just think it's kind of boring. But Forza Horizon 3 was cool because it was lovely to see Australian bins and traffic signs and gum trees and flora and fauna in Forza Horizon 3. But they didn't really put an effort into recreate Byron Bay or the Sunshine Coast very accurately, especially Byron Bay. I'm pretty familiar with Byron Bay, which is sort of a northeast coastal town in New South Wales, which is a state in Australia. And I was really excited to play Forza Horizon 3 and be like, damn, how have they adapted one of my favorite places in Australia into this game? And it's like, not even really close at all to what the real place looks like, which really like bummed me out. The Sunshine Coast in that game looks a lot closer to the Sunshine Coast in real life. But there wasn't a adherence to making any of it accurate. And a lot of the racing is just like, you know, long, flat, straight roads. They just added the Barbie Corvette to Forza. Yeah, I saw that.
Damn!
Look at this guy. I love how you can hear their thoughts.
Large weight transfer on those turns. Kept missing the timing on the double clutch. Stupid. Fascinating technique. More?
Look at this. It's the early 2000s, man.
That is your opponent in this style of race. Get ready, guys.
Let's see if I can pull this one off. Another racing game set in Australia. There's a famous racetrack in Bathurst called Mount Panorama, which is in a lot of racing sims. And also, the new Mario Kart has a Sydney level, which is where I'm from. And it's kind of cool. It's a nice little tribute to this city. And also, Project Gotham Racing had a lot of Sydney levels, which were far more accurate. And probably the most accurate depiction of Sydney in a video game, really, is from Project Gotham Racing, where you kind of just do a circuit through the middle of the city. Ooh. Do I have boost? Should I use boost? There's a cop there. Cops only appear in missions. Look at this. Look how fast it feels. The way cars feel in this game is so responsive and amazing. Yo, Mini, were you already planning on playing this, or did my comment on your recent Fast and Furious video inspire you? I wasn't already planning on playing this. I think your comment did actually... I think I saw it come up in the comments, and I was like, yeah, I should stream that. Hello, hello. I definitely feel like games have limited their speed, not just racing, but across all genres. I don't know what you mean by that. This guy hasn't limited his speed. Supposedly PGI used real-life city layouts. Yeah, it did. So it was really novel seeing, you know, the city I live in a video game. I think as far as like how well Australia would translate to oh, this is a weird race type where you've got to like hit every objective. Melbourne is a grid. Melbourne's sort of like a mini New York. So like, I guess you could do that. Like, I don't know. The driver games use a lot of grids. But Sydney is spaghetti. Sydney is like the most poorly planned highways and tunnels going under and out in weird places, and I'm not sure how well an open world racing game would go in Sydney. You'd just get lost a lot. My boost going. There we are. Oh my fucking god. I gotta pay attention. Is there a Mrs. Mini-Me? There is. I'm a married man. I'm gonna lose this, aren't I, because of that one crash. This game demands a lot from you very quickly. I remember as a kid I just couldn't beat this game. I couldn't. It was just way too hard. I think I got to Paris and just... You gotta come first in every single race. Are you racing in miles per hour or kilometers per hour? I'll have a look. I feel like game top speeds are lower than what they used to be, if that makes sense. Yeah, kinda. Have you played any Redout 2? I haven't, but I played Redout 1. Redout 1's a cool game. Kind of a tribute to Wipeout. Is that what that series was called? Wipeout? Wipeout? What was that PS1 series with like the track racing? It was like F-Zero. Was that Wipeout? Or is Wipeout that TV show? Where people get punched by like giant boxing gloves into the water. Yeah, it is Wipeout, okay. Wipeout's a cool game. Wipeout 3 on PS1 I think is one of the most... I don't think a game has... You'd be hard pressed to find a game that's aged more gracefully than Wipeout 3 on PS1. It looks like a new indie game. I love how fast that guy just pulled out. Just not looking. So this game gets really fast. We're on the second car in the game, but when you're at the end, the cars are like super fast. So you kind of have this like really strong sense of progression going through this lovely, simple, elegant open world racer. Racing game in Sydney would be no left turns, no right turns, one-way roads and narrow lanes. Yeah, you'd be banging your side view mirrors on everything. New vehicle.
I can't believe I did that on the
Redout 2 is a recent sort of Wipeout thing and it's marvelous. Okay, well, I should play it. I did like the first one, but I didn't play a lot of it. The PSP version of Midnight Club LA uses this game's version of LA and Tokyo with the handling model of 3 better than the 360 PS3 version. That's weird. The PSP version of Midnight Club LA, which is the 4th game, and this is the 2nd game, uses this version of LA and Tokyo, which isn't in Midnight Club LA, and uses the handling model from 3 because they ported Midnight Club 3 to PSP and assumedly just used that. That's wild. I gotta check that out. If you're just joining us, this is Midnight Club 2, a game by Angel Studios, who by this point I think were called like Rockstar Leeds or Rockstar something. Rockstar Manchester, is that a name of a Rockstar? I don't know. Sup, Minnie, howdy. Sup. And this was developed by the studio that made a series called Midtown Madness. And what seems like what happened was Rockstar saw Midtown Madness, which was an open world racing game on PC, and were like, can you do that for us, but make it cool? And they did. They made Midnight Club 1, which was sort of quaint and a little offbeat and didn't quite feel right to me, and then they refined it here in Midnight Club 2, which I think is one of the coolest the absolute coolest racing games ever made. Because it's so pure and focused on the racing and just has this great vibe. And there are cars just driving around in this car park. What the fuck is going on? No one's parked. Everyone's just driving in circles. Alright. Rockstar Bucharest. Me playing Midnight Club 2. My lifelong dream come true. Someday I'd like to do a video on all the Midnight Clubs. A big ol' Midnight Club franchise retrospective, 4 hours long, nerdy white guy on the internet gushing over a car game series. No one's ever done that before. Fuck. What is happening? Dude! Alright. Ever tried Smuggler's Run? Basically a mutant brother of Midnight Club 2? I have played Smuggler's Run, yeah. It's funny, I know a guy who's like really good at it and really passionate about Smuggler's Run, which surprises me. Actually, the guy I know who is good and sort of passionate about Smuggler's Run is a YouTuber named Color Shed. His name's Spencer, so if you know who that is, that guy likes Smuggler's Run a lot, which is random. Is the real Midnight Club the friends we made along the way? The real Midnight Club's actually... It's kind of an urban myth, but it was kind of a real thing. It was... I think it was like the 80s and 90s, and there was a legitimate club of drivers, of racers, that called themselves the Midnight Club. I love how you can hear their thoughts. But while like highways were being constructed in Tokyo and in Japan, the Midnight Club would race on them in the 80s and 90s. And that's what the real Midnight Club is. But it could be an urban myth. I don't think it is an urban myth. I think there is proof that it existed in some form or another. But the Midnight Club isn't just a made-up thing. But I don't know, just sounded like... Sounds like a myth. It sounds like one of those, like... It sounds too cool to be true. It's just like people modding tuner cars and racing them on Japanese highways. Is the Midnight Club a real thing? I don't know. Why is that car so much faster than me? I think something about this game's vibe clicks with me more than Midnight Club 3 or LA. And it kind of has this sort of aloof, hangout, just kind of like relaxing vibe, if that makes sense. It's not as in your face as 3 is, but it's still very of its time. What I love about this game is how each song feels bespoke for the races used in. Yeah, it's cool. It's not a loud game. Like, I feel like 3 and LA were kind of loud in their presentation. Were kind of showy. Whereas this game's just, you know, kicking back. Here's a racing game. Bro, I remember Smuggler's Run when presented at E3 2000, like it was mind-blowing. When I think of Smuggler's Run, I think of the Game Boy Advance version. Which was sort of this pseudo 3D. Oh my god, that guy just screwed me then. I'm losing this one. Why did that truck stop? Speaking of which, when will you review the rest of the Cars games? Yeah, I should. I think the reason that I haven't is partly to do with I just like felt like I wanted to move on to bigger things. I don't know, but whenever I review a video game on my channel, a video game that isn't inherently that interesting, it feels like a lot of work. It feels like work. It's like I kind of have to make this review itself more interesting arbitrarily because the game isn't that interesting. Which was kind of especially the case when reviewing the Cars 3 game. Because Cars 2, I can't believe I know so much about this, but Cars 2, the game, is almost exactly the same game as Cars 3. So reviewing Cars 3, the game, was like retreading ground, and it just felt kind of tired. One thing I miss from 3 Dub Edition is all the characters with their own personalities. 3 doesn't have much of them, yeah. Somewhat reminds me of Driver 3 with all the scripted events and soundtracks that make the races so different from each other, yeah. Let's give this another crack. This one seems hard as. Maybe it's because the DS version of the game was so bad, yeah. I think 3 was really edging on NSFU, Need for Speed Underground's crowd, with the emphasis on... I'm reading comments, hello. Emphasis on licensed cars and customization. This game still had more arcadey DNA in it from Midtown Madness. That's right. So while this game was themed around like Japanese tuner cars and the Midnight Club, this game doesn't actually have real Japanese tuner cars in it. This game is primarily a racing game. It's not a car customization game. It's not really a car collecting game. Even though you do collect cars, you kind of just use the latest one you've got. What are these guys doing? What was that guy doing? Look at this. They're so aggressive. Alright, I might just catch up now. Midtown Madness was awesome as well. I played a lot of Midtown Madness 1. Whenever I see a new Beetle 2.0, I think of Midtown Madness. And what's interesting about Midtown Madness is once Rockstar took their developer to make Midnight Club games, Microsoft wanted to keep making Midtown Madness games. And so the studio that they got to make Midtown Madness 3, the first game not by the developer of Midnight Club, they got DICE to do it. Like Battlefield's DICE. And Midtown Madness 3 is cool. It doesn't really feel the same as the other ones, but Midtown Madness 3 was like an Xbox exclusive, original Xbox. And it was really impressive. It had a lot of physics objects, it had a lot of post-processing effects. It had great graphics. It was a lot of fun. And I'm gonna lose this race again. I love this series. 3 is actually my favorite. 3 is most people's favorite, I think. I don't think that's a controversial take. I think 2 is my favorite, followed by LA, followed by 3, followed by 1. That's my ranking. But I really like LA, and most people don't. Something about LA clicks with me. It's a cool game. Although it only runs at 30 frames a second, and it's only on console. I picked it up on Xbox Series X recently, like the 360 backwards compatible version, and I was hoping that it would run at 60 frames, but it didn't. Ooh, that was close. L stream, not gonna lie. No worries. Games like these are the Dark Souls of racing games. How's this game feel compared to the racing games of the era? Cars in this game are really, really grippy and really, really light. Reaching top speed takes a while, but it feels really responsive and snappy in a way few games did at the time. W stream, for real, for real. Thank you, Andrew. Something doesn't seem right about your car's acceleration. I agree. Why am I having such a hard time? I don't remember this game being so hard. Maybe I could, like, cap the frame rate or something. Let's try turn on VSync. I reckon, like, the acceleration might be tied to the frame rate because it is running at 144 Hertz. Options. Damn, maybe not. What a bummer. Anyway, let's go check out the other city in the arcade mode. Oh, you have to unlock it. Never mind. Let's do the arcade mode regardless. Which vehicle? Was I in the Emu? I was. MCLA Remix uses this game's LA. Yeah, I couldn't get a gamepad to work. All these old games. How long have you had a mustache? A while. So, when playing this game back in the day, what I used to do, because the career mode was so hard and I was a child, even though acceleration's really low and this game isn't working very well, there was a route this way somewhere where you could do this huge jump. I think it's through here. And you could jump onto a bridge or something. And I used to just do this move every time I played this game. Is it through here? Am I going the right way? As you can see, there's a lot of like secret pathways in this game. The physics break if it's running over 30 FPS. Of course they do. That's why I'm having such a hard time. How can I cap it? Can you cap it? Can you cap it through Steam settings or something? Damn. Damn. Why am I having such a hard time? How would you say this compares to Need for Speed Underground? This is open world. The cars are really light. There's no drift events. There's no custom car stuff. The graphics are a bit worse, but they're cleaner. The soundtrack is a little more eclectic. And I think it's a little more charming. Yeah, I probably do need to go through the graphics card software. You know what? I'm gonna be back in a second. I'm gonna switch over to a. Actually, let's just figure it out. All right. Actually, I know how to do it. This is a bad idea. I think if I do this, goes down to 60. If I press this button, we get it down to 30. Okay, that didn't work at all. Plugging that back in. What I did instead was I unplugged my laptop from the battery, which normally caps the whole thing at 30 FPS from the power, rather. Regardless. Let's see if we can find the cheat codes. Because there was a way you could shoot a gun. Remember looking up cheat codes? I love how we have tech issues on every single stream, every single week. I hope I gave you an idea of what Midnight Club 2 looks like regardless, even though I was having an incredibly hard time. Unlock all cities. Star power. Where do you enter the cheats? Let's see if there's a options mode. Save the kids. Rimbuck is to unlock everything. Alright. Is it in the options? Where do you enter it? Do you just type it in now? Cheat codes. What was it? Rimbuck? Wow, I can't type. Don't know if that worked or not. Let's see what Save the Kids does. No, that didn't enter. Star power. Alright. If you're just joining us, this is Midnight Club 2, running at too high a frame rate for it to work properly. Yes, there we are. So Tokyo in this game is gorgeous. Oh, thank you to Rimbuck. L1, R1, L1, R1. Cheat codes are now microtransactions. Yeah. So, here we are in Tokyo. And we can shoot a gun. Look at this. It just pushes cars around. And when you're 10 years old, and you can play this open world mode in split screen, and you can't get through the campaign because you're too bad at the game, this gun shooting thing was the world. This was as cool as it got. So you just drive around in your PG racing game, shooting pedestrians from your car. But yeah, this is Tokyo. It's a cool place. There's a cool bit of high-rise where the streets get tight somewhere. If I press M, you can bring the map up, which is interesting. Sort of get a sense of how big the map is based on this. They felt a lot bigger than that map would suggest. Well, they still do. Yeah, there's a cheat to enable missiles, that's right. You could shoot rockets. Rockstar predicted guns from their own... from their cars, yeah. Took me 5 years to finish GTA Vice City because I didn't know how to play. It took me years to finish... I'm bringing up Driver 3 again. I always bring up Driver 3, but it took me years to finish Driver 3. That game was hard as a kid. Got the Central Park. Got a tunnel. Got Tokyo. It's a simple game. It's a shame the physics didn't work. Asakusa. But yeah, that's Midnight Club too. I might just do a shorter stream this week. Not only because tech issues, but got a lot of work to do. And I'm working on Red Steel. The, oh, look at all these back streets. It's nice. It's a nice PS2 aesthetic. They've done a really good job making it all look good and blocky and in a aesthetically pleasing way, I think. But yeah, working on a video on Red Steel. Working on a video on Red Steel 1 and 2 in the same video. And yesterday, I had the day off. So I woke up in the morning. I plugged my Wii U into my recording thing, my capture card. And I played Red Steel 2 all day. I finished Red Steel 2, and then I went to bed. Which is some, like, real living it up in your 20s sort of stuff. Red Steel is like a shooting / sword fighting game. A lot of people really love the second one. I really love the first one, but I don't think it's very good. I just think it's cool. Hard life in it. Yeah. So Red Steel 1 was like, we're gonna make the most immersive game on the Wii. We're gonna have sword fighting and shooting, and it's gonna feel 1-to-1, and it's gonna be amazing. And obviously they couldn't pull that off. So in Red Steel 2, they like threw that all out and were like, we're gonna make a fun game. It doesn't have to be immersive. It doesn't have to be technically impressive. It doesn't have to blow people away from any immersion standpoint. We just want to make a silly, fun game that feels good to play. And so the games are kind of polar opposites because of it. Just got here. This was a good day. I made it on time. Oh no, I'm ending it in a second. Isn't Red Steel that early Wii game? I remember everyone thinking it was cool because, oh my god, it's pole, you're controlling the guns, swords for real, which is hilarious looking back. So yeah, Red Steel 1 was a launch game. And the trailers had like 1-to-1 controls of you moving the sword around and swiping it in real time. But in real life, like in reality, the way the game turned out, it was like it was kind of like the sword would just sit there on screen like this, and you would swipe, and then like a second later the sword would swipe, and it'd be sort of off, and it wouldn't register every time. As a 12-year-old, it made me want a Wii because it seemed so realistic. Yeah, the advertising was crazy. Don't end it. There's so many obscure games to live for. Micro Me Dub Edition. Oh my god, a Wii launch game. What a throwback. Yeah. It'll be fun. As I murder pedestrians here in Midnight Club 2. If you're just joining us and wondering why there's guns coming off the car, that's a cheat code that this game had. That made it more palatable. Made it more satisfying. But yeah, that's Midnight Club 2. Thank you for joining me for this shorter stream this week. Oh, I can finally join one of your streams and I'm ending it. I feel so bad. Basically, streams are around this time every single week. They normally go for longer than this one is going for. But, yeah. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry to everyone who just joined. I'll catch you all in next week's stream, whatever that may be. I've teased it for a while now, but what I want to do at some point is stream the entirety of Driver 3 on my main channel. So it'll be like a 3 or 4 hour stream where we sit here, we play through it. I might do it for charity or something because, you know, streaming for charity is a thing and I want to try that. Have a good week, you two. Good day later. Definitely watch the network. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And I'll see some of you next week, and I'll see the rest of you when I see you, and look forward to the Red Steel video. And goodbye. I have to pronounce it Drive 3R. That's right.